And we're asking you because residents in Huntingdale have already successfully lobbied their council to replace speed bumps on one local street, and now they want more action. Their local MP, Terry Healy, tabled another petition about this issue in Parliament on Tuesday with hundreds of signatures, and Terry joins us to talk about it this morning. It's nice to chat with you.
Good morning.
How much hooning is there in the local area? Is it pretty bad?
Look, we there are definitely too many people who make bad decisions to speed. But it's less about hooning, it's more about just general traffic. We just found that, speed bumps don't work, whereas chicanes sort of make everyone have to slowing down to 50 k's an hour, makes it a much better thing without the noise and the frustration and the damage to your car.
So the damage to the car is because people go over speed bumps too fast,
There's a couple of streets for those locals in my area. Sort of Huntingdale Gay Street and Harpender Street are two of the big ones. So repetitive, you've got about 6 or 7 of them. You've got to use them every day to and from work. Just, general use at the appropriate speed.
So even if you go 50 k's an hour over these speed humps, the fact is that if you're doing it to work and from work, or to school and from school, and you're doing it 5 or 10 times a day, every day for the life of the car, it has an impact on the car.
I'm a high school English teacher by trade, not a mechanic, but the anecdotal feedback is that the wear and tear is increased.
Okay.
So we just found that, you and I slow down, but the idiots don't.
Yeah.
So, less wear and tear on cars for everyone, but also actually managing the speed. It was a much better way for, local areas to invest their funds. Chicanes are better than speed bumps.
Yeah, and because no matter what, you can't go through a chicane at pace, can you? I mean, you just have to slow down.
Well, we did I've done about 8,000 homes since the last election. We've been talking with people about how we do this. We did a great consultation and made the chicanes themselves very, very hard instead of a sharp turn. So you do have to slow down to 50 k's an hour, and that's been very, very popular. And my community wants more.
Now, Terry, what's cheaper, speed bumps or chicanes?
Depends on how you look at it. The short answer to that is $10,000 approximately for a speed bump, about $50,000 for a chicane, depending on footpaths and power poles and all the other things. But the problem is a speed bump. So we've got a great council, great local police, but when you build a speed bump, that's sort of the standard approach. And if you build that, you already think, well, we've solved the problem. But it doesn't. So you might spend 50 grand on, 5 speed bumps, and they're not effective. So it's actually not a good use of money. A chicane is a little bit more expensive at $50,000 approximately, but it'll manage the street traffic better. The local residents will like it more. It's much more cost effective because it actually solves the problem that local residents are asking.
Okay, so Terry, there's an interesting text here from Darren, and he says chicanes will make hoons drive faster as they'll treat it like a racetrack.
It all depends on the design. And look, I can't speak for every single road in Perth, but I can certainly tell you, we've got a great council that work with us in consulting for them. So they need to be sharp and hard. If they're too soft, then a car can go through it at a higher speed. But when they're sharp enough and designed well, a car has to slow down to 50 kilometres an hour. Simple as that.
You mentioned Gay Street in Huntingdale. Now, the speed bumps there have been replaced by chicanes. So have you noticed that driver behaviour has improved since that happened?
Look, absolutely. So we did Gay Street as a bit of a trial program. At the last election, we made a promise, which we kept. So Mark McGowan and I promised $250,000 to take the speed bumps off and to put, about 5 or 6 chicanes in. And that trial's been a success. The whole length of that was it was avoided by locals and residents because of the speed bumps. And people were doing generally much higher than the average speed. Now, the feedback and the overall data that's there shows that people are slowing down to much more appropriate.
Oh, this is an interesting Terry Healy, thank you very much for your time, Labor MP for Southern River.